America, 1861. A nation divided, brother against brother, state against state. The country teeters on the edge of collapse. At the center of it all stands one man, tall, solemn, with a face carved by hardship and a heart bound by hope. His name is Abraham Lincoln, the boy who grew up in a log cabin, the lawyer who taught himself by candlelight, the president who fought to keep a nation together. This is his story. Abraham Lincoln was born on February 12, 1809, in a small log cabin in Kentucky. His family was poor and life was hard. His mother died when he was just 9 years old, and young Abraham had to help his father with farm work. But in the quiet nights, by the dim glow of a fire, Lincoln found escape in books. He had less than a year of formal schooling, but he devoured every scrap of knowledge he could find. He read the Bible, Aesop's fables, Shakespeare, and law books. He once said, "The things I want to know are in books. My best friend is the man who'll give me a book I ain't read." Through determination, he turned himself from a poor farm boy into a man of wisdom. Lincoln moved to Illinois, where he worked as a store clerk, a rail splitter, and eventually a lawyer. He became known for his honesty and fairness, earning the nickname Honest Abe. But he wasn't just a lawyer. He had a voice that carried, words that inspired. Lincoln entered politics, serving in the Illinois state legislature and later the U.S. House of Representatives. He opposed the spread of slavery, but at first he wasn't a national figure. That changed in 1858 during his debates with Senator Stephen A. Douglas. The nation watched as Lincoln spoke of freedom and justice. In one debate, he declared, "A house divided against itself cannot stand." His words echoed across the country. In 1860, against all odds, Abraham Lincoln was elected the 16th President of the United States. But his victory tore the nation apart. Southern states, fearing he would abolish slavery, seceded from the Union. Civil war erupted in 1861. For 4 long years, America was drenched in blood. Lincoln faced enormous pressure from generals who failed him, from politicians who doubted him, from a country that seemed ready to shatter. But Lincoln's strength was not in anger. It was in patience, wisdom, and an unshakable belief in unity. In the middle of the war, Lincoln made a decision that changed history. On January 1st, 1863, he signed Emancipation Proclamation, declaring enslaved people in Confederate states to be free. It did not end slavery immediately, but it turned the war into a fight not just for union, but for freedom. He once said, "Those who deny freedom to others deserve it not for themselves." Lincoln's courage gave hope to millions, and his vision redefined America's purpose. By 1865, the Union Army had gained the upper hand. On April 9th, Confederate General Robert E. Lee surrendered to Union General Ulysses S. Grant. The war was over. The Union had been preserved. Slavery was on the path to extinction. A few days later, on April 11th, Lincoln gave a speech about rebuilding the nation, about reconciliation instead of revenge. He wanted peace, but fate had other plans. On the evening of April 14th, 1865, Abraham Lincoln went to Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C. to watch a play. As he sat in the presidential box, an actor named John Wilkes Booth slipped inside and fired a single shot. The next morning, April 15th, Abraham Lincoln died. He was just 56 years old. The nation wept. Crowds lined the streets as his funeral train carried him back to Illinois. The man who had saved the Union was gone. But Abraham Lincoln's story did not end with his death. Today, he is remembered as one of the greatest presidents in American history. His face is carved into Mount Rushmore. His statue towers over the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. His words are still studied, quoted, and cherished. He once said in the Gettysburg Address, "Government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth." Those words remain a guiding light. Lincoln rose from poverty to the presidency. He faced hatred, war, and loss. But he never abandoned the dream of a united, free America. He proved that greatness is not given. It is earned through courage, honesty, and a heart dedicated to justice. In November 1863, on a battlefield soaked with blood, Lincoln delivered just 272 words that became immortal. The Gettysburg Address was not long, but it carried the weight of eternity. He reminded America that the war was not just about land or politics. It was about giving birth to a new freedom, ensuring democracy would never perish from the earth. Lincoln faced enormous pressure. His critics mocked him. His generals doubted him. His countrymen questioned if the Union could survive. But Lincoln led with patience and humility. He often visited soldiers in hospitals, shook hands with common citizens, and carried the pain of a broken nation on his shoulders. He was not just a commander-in-chief, he was a healer-in-chief. In April 1865, just days after the Civil War ended, Lincoln was assassinated at Ford's Theater. The news shocked the nation. Bells tolled, people wept in the streets, and America mourned the man who had saved the Union. Yet his legacy lived on. He proved that one person, no matter how humble their beginnings, can change the course of history. Abraham Lincoln's life was a journey from log cabin to White House, from sorrow to triumph, from division to unity. His story reminds us that true leadership is not about power. It is about courage, compassion, and vision. Even in his absence, his presence shaped the nation. The Emancipation Proclamation laid the foundation for freedom. His words at Gettysburg became a promise that democracy would not perish from the earth. And his belief in unity still echoes through every challenge America faces. He showed that even in the darkest times, hope can guide a nation forward. His humility proved that greatness is not measured by wealth or status, but by service and sacrifice. His courage taught us that standing for justice often comes with a price, but it is a price worth paying. And though his life was cut short, his ideals live forever, shaping the very soul of America. Today, every time people speak of liberty, equality, and unity, they are carrying forward the dream of Abraham Lincoln, the boy from a log cabin who became the face of freedom. Abraham Lincoln was just one man, a son of the frontier, a self-taught lawyer, a reluctant politician, but he became the leader who saved a nation, and his legacy still lives on in every fight for equality, in every call for unity, and in every dream of freedom.